Hello, Professor Toybox here, along with Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, and we're back in my Fantasia Toy Box once more. You may have noticed that this episode didn't begin with the usual Toy Box Tutorials intro, and that's because I'm not doing a tutorial today. In our last episode, we added this toy box door over here, which will lead to the interior for the Magician's Castle. And right now this new toy box is empty, so we need to build the interior of the castle before we can continue our series of tutorials. The layout I've designed will probably take a couple of videos to build, so I'll upload the first one today, and then I'll upload the second one tomorrow, and if we need a third video, I'll upload that on Sunday, and that way we can resume our tutorial series next Friday on schedule. Because we're building the interior of a magician's castle, I think we can be really creative about what it looks like, and I would expect it to be larger on the inside than it is on the outside, and we actually need it to be larger because it's pretty small on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and drop down the boombox and the sky changer here, because what I'm envisioning is a wide open space with a sky and maybe some floating islands, almost as if the castle door on the outside leads to another dimension. And so this is what we're going to build. So as we get started, I've dropped the sky changer and the boombox, and I'm going to go ahead and change the sky, and we're going to use again Mickey's Spellbound Sky from Fantasia. I'll set that to be the sky. Back out of that. And then we'll come over to the boombox and turn off the music so that you can hear me a little better. There we go. Alright, I'm not going to keep this large terrain block here, but since we have it, I'll go ahead and use this to set the theme. And for the terrain theme, initially I'm going to use Dusty Crophopper's Runway. I like the stone on the sides, and the stones on the runway look pretty good, I think, for the castle interior here. And we'll come out here and grab some new terrain pieces. So back to the terrain drawer, and of course it reset this drawer on me. So the piece we currently have is about that size, but half the height, and I want to do half of that, so a quarter of this size, and I'm going to come up a little ways. Doesn't really matter too far because that stuff down below isn't going to stay there. And I'm going to place, let's see, let's go, doesn't really matter, but let's go this direction. And actually, we'll go this way. So I'm going to place 1, 2, go to the next smaller. Come up here and we'll place 2 more here. And you'll see why I'm doing this as we go along. But I'm basically going to be building off of this. Okay, I think that's good enough to start. Actually, that's not the block I want there. I need 2 of these first. And then we'll put the larger one. And the orientation of the blocks kind of matters, because I want the stonework to be all going lengthwise this direction. I think it looks better that way. So that's why I was particular about how I placed these larger blocks and how they were oriented with each other. And as we get started here, let's see, let's start up on this end, about in the middle, and I'm going to come up to Building Sets Group 6, and we're going to start with the castle blocks, and I'm going to put down a wall here, and yeah. We'll put another one over here, and then the larger one out like so. And I'm going to put it with the window on the outside because I don't really want the door sitting here, and this is going to be the exterior of the wall with a cliff below it. So I think it'd look better like that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gives us our spacing. And then for here, we're going to come across. I'm going to skip that little section and put 2 more on this side. So we're kind of filling in a bit of a courtyard here. And then just 1 over this way. And I'm going to put 2 over here this way, and we'll turn this one around so that door isn't facing there. And so we have the makings of a courtyard, as you can kind of see. And you'll see what we're doing here in a moment. So now I need to come 1, 2, 3 to the end of this. 1, 2, and like that. And I believe, yeah. We'll do another. Let's go ahead and turn it this way. With that door on the outside. And that one can be like that. That's okay. And we'll leave this one like that. And now on this side, it's going to kind of matter where the windows are placed, because I'd like to be able to see some windows here on this courtyard. And so we're going to do this. I'm going to place 1 like that. We can do another one like so. And make sure the door is not on the outside there. And the door is not on that side. So now we have a little corridor starting there. And now we're going to come over here and grab the stairs. And these stairs are 2 blocks high, basically. So I'm going to put these all the way up, like this. And then I'd like there to be a little bit of an overhang there. So it's hanging over the stair versus it right on the end like so, because that'll leave a bit of a gap. And so this way we have that. And actually, I think I miscounted here. We got to go 1 more. Because that staircase is going to stick out. There we go. And now we can come down underneath like this. Drop the next set of stairs and down 1 more. We'll have 1 more row of stairs about like that. That looks correct. That's good. That's better. Okay, and then we'll make 1 more row of blocks out here like this. And this is going to be where the player comes into the toy box. So we're going to come up here and move this piece. Whoops, that was correct. And I'm going to drop this right here to try to cover up that seam a little bit. And we'll move the toy box door up here as well. And let's put it right here for the moment, because I'm not quite sure how wide this wall is. Yep, that was correct. Okay, so we'll do that. And now I want to put these two walls over here, two walls over here, and we have this gap now, but we've got this other block here that's 3 long and 2 wide, and that fits in perfectly just like that. And now we'll go ahead and add the block in here, and I think let's go ahead and put the window on the outside with the door over here. Probably should put a couple of windows up here just to break things up a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and drop this one in. And I think we can do 2 high. Yep. Just like that. And there we go. So when Mickey comes into the toy box, he's going to be up here on this staircase, and he'll come in like this. And the toy box door is behind us if we want to go back. And to go onward, we go down the stairs. And I like that. And we enter this little courtyard. Now, for the courtyard, what I want to do, the very first thing I want the player to see when they come into the toy box here for the interior, I want to recreate one of the classic scenes from the Fantasia movie. And so I want to have brooms carrying water and dumping it in a little cistern or a well or something over here. And so because we're going to do that, we're going to come back down to the terrain drawer. And I'm going to put down one of these blocks over here, like so. Make sure the brick is oriented the right direction. And I'm going to leave a gap and use this smaller, wider block because we're going to put a tunnel in here. It goes just like that. And then we got to go grab the tunnel pieces. I think this will be really cool to have this because it'll look very similar to what we see in the Fantasia movie. And this will kind of be the first puzzle that the player has to solve as to how to get through this archway over here. So we're going to put the cave and the well here. And I'm going to drop another one over on this side right here. And then connecting the two, we'll put a cave tunnel. And I want to make sure we've got the tunnel part going the right direction. So what's going to happen is Mickey will come down the stairs. There will be brooms over here filling this thing with water. And in order to use that tunnel, he'll have to stop the brooms from filling that with water and let it drain. And then he can go through the tunnel and come up the well on this side. And this is going to be a barrier here. So that's what I have in mind for that. And we need a floor under here now. And what I want to do here is put down some water blocks. So we'll come over to the blocks drawer and pick up the large flat floor piece, namely this one. And I want to make sure I put this right underneath, like that. And we'll set the style on this, the theme, to be the water theme. We have to scroll over a little ways to find that. There it is. And now on the side closest to us and the one far away from us, we have the block there for the tunnel, but there's nothing on this side, so we need to drop one more there or we'll have a gap. And there we go. So now as you look down in the well, there's water. And we can run through the tunnel now. All right, on this side, well, let's see. Let's do this over here first because we're done with the water. And so I want to come back over and grab this long block. We're going to put this up here at the top of this to frame in a bit of an arch. And we're going to set this to be the Dunbroch Castle brick, which is just a few over from the water. There we go. And that's looking good. Now this direction will be the source of the water that the brooms are using to fill that. And so we'll come back now to the terrain drawer. And let's go ahead, just so I don't have to scroll through the drawer, we'll pick this block up, put it down, and that puts us right over here near this block. And I want to kind of center this in the middle of this archway. And so that we don't have a gap there between the floor and the wall, I'll run this along here for a little ways. And nothing I can do about that. And then once again, let's come over and pick this piece up. And we'll keep going to the left until we get to the water pieces. And that's the piece that I want right there. And we're going to put this right up next to there, just like that. And the water has to come from somewhere. So we'll put this little waterfall piece in here. One more time, pick this up, put it down, and grab the smaller block. We're going to add a few surrounding blocks. Make sure the brick points the same direction. And you'll notice the brick on the water pieces there flows the same way too. So it's all consistent. They're all going that direction. That's the way it's laid out, so that's good. All right, and then we'll surround this by cliffs. I'll put one here, one on the other side, and then this one like that. So we have kind of a nice little scenic area back here that's taking shape. And I like that. And let's see. I need another couple of blocks, so we're going to use this small terrain block, which doesn't actually look all that small, does it? And I'm going to put one there, and we're going to put one on this side, like that. And I just realized I got to have one more piece of water. Like that. And I think might have to put a couple more of these out here, like so. So I'm building kind of a little cave here where the water is going to come from. If we scroll over to this overhanging edge piece here, I'm going to line it up with the front edge of this river block here. And actually, let's use this one instead. I like that better. Flip it around. Now we have a bit of a tunnel that's there. And because this is a little bit flat, we'll drop a couple little pieces here. Like that. And like that. And now, because this tunnel doesn't actually go anywhere, we have to close it off somehow. And there's a couple of different ways we could do it, but I think what I'd like to do is we'll come back to the blocks. I want it to look like the tunnel goes off into a long tunnel, but I don't want the player to actually go there. So I'm going to drop down one of these large block walls. And I'm going to set the texture on this. If we go back to the left, about the best texture I've seen, the blackest texture, is this blacktop. And as long as the light doesn't shine directly on it, it looks black and it doesn't look pitted. And you can see we got a little bit of a gap there underneath that, so we got to come down one more. Like that. And then we look through there, and that looks pretty good. Looks like it's going off into the distance, so I like that. But it looks a little flat on top, so I'm going to come down here, pick this block up, drop it down, and then go to the right, and that'll get me to the mountain pieces fairly quickly, I think. We got these nice rocky looking pieces that I think will help a lot. So if we put that down, yeah, these look pretty good actually. So we could put that down, we can put just these down. Mix it up so it doesn't look too repetitive. And that's really all we need, because the player is not going to be able to get up there. I just want something that looks like there's a significant chunk of rock when you're standing down here. So now we have the pool that's here, and so the brooms will be moving back and forth between that water and the well over here and filling it up. So that's nice. And we'll get to that in a future video. And that brings us into the courtyard. And what we're going to do now is go ahead and frame that in. And then we're getting to the half-hour mark here, so I don't want to spend too much time. Yeah, let's go ahead and leave that, because I don't want the door facing off either direction. And that should be it. For this direction, we'll skip over, put another one down over here. And we'll be putting in additional blocks later, but just to frame this in. Make sure that door is facing the other direction. Now you can see we're framing in this courtyard here. And that's good. And we're going to go up too high at this point. We'll flip that around so that door is not visible. And we can break this up a little bit so there's not anything too predictable. So I like that. And now for this block here, I'm going to change the texture on a few of these blocks. And we're going to change this one to be the World of the Wisps from Brave. So we'll have kind of a little bit of a garden area here. Same with this block. And this one. So now you'll come in, you've got a bit of stonework here and then the garden. And in the middle of the garden, we're going to put something special. So I'm going to come up to the set pieces. And I'm looking for the one set piece from Brave, Forest Siege, which is this one right here. I want to line it up at the edge of that rock if I can. I guess that's about as best we'll do there. And I'm going to slide it back that way just a tad. So just like that. And when we're all done, we'll add a few trees and things in here to kind of fill in this empty space around it. So as you come in, you got kind of that little interesting looking area over there. So I think this is a good stopping point for today. We've got the entrance there. We've got this little courtyard here and another courtyard starting to take shape over here. And so we'll come out of Spark mode and out of the editor. And I like this, the way this is starting to look. So we'll continue the build exercise tomorrow with a special part 2 video. This next section is where the toy box for the castle interior starts to get really interesting. So I'm really excited about that. Before I sign off, I want to thank you for watching today. I hope you're enjoying this series so far and learning a lot from it. I had to get really creative with this toy box in order to find ways to teach you how to use everything. And because of that, this Fantasia toy box has become one of my favorites. We're going to be building some really fun puzzles and challenges in the coming months as we work on the castle interior. I'm excited for you to see what I have planned. For now, Mickey and I are signing off from our Fantasia world, and we'll see you again tomorrow.